Hello, everyone. So today I kind of wanted to share with you some of the backstory to a couple of ukulele originals that I wrote. And I picked three of them that kind of tell a story over the past couple of years that has a very clear story arc, and I think it will be interesting to talk about them in this kind of format and play them as well. Today I have a Pono tenor that's set up with a low G. I'm not a big fan of these strings. I'd like to replace them in the future, but I'm going to wait till I've had a little time with these strings in particular. So the first piece is called Empty Roads, and this one I wrote in a motel off of the side of the highway in a little town called Globe. So Globe represents a lot. It was a big turning point in my life. It is the halfway point to go up to visit my parents, actually. So I've driven through Globe so many times. I was married for almost 10 years, and my husband and I split up, and actually there was a whole story, a whole thing that happened that created this rift. And we actually met in Globe, and this was the last time that we saw each other for a long time. We're now very close friends and we talk regularly, but at the time this was when we decided to go our separate ways, and literally he drove north and I drove south from Globe. And so Globe always represented this really, traumatic moment in my life in which everything changed. And so every time I drove through Globe for a year or two afterwards, I would get so much heaviness, and it would bring everything back, and all those memories and that long conversation that we had when we walked in the wash and talked about our marriage and how there was no way to compromise, and that was the end. We had to go our separate ways. Our lives were just too different. And so one day I decided to, for some reason, go to Globe and stay in this little motel off of the side of the highway. Nothing fancy. I think it was like 60 or $50 for the night. And it was, pretty run down, and I think there might have been one other person staying there. And I went there, I had my ukulele. It was nighttime. I can remember the buzzing of a light on the patio outside, and it was just in the occasional car passing by. It was very cinematic. It was very moody, and it would make a great movie scene, I think. This, rundown hotel and these flashing occasional lights and just all the weird sounds and the stains in the carpet, And there was a TV, and I turned it on, and the first screen that appeared was actually some sort of preliminary screen that you see on like that you would see kind of like a screensaver. It was just something that the hotel had created, and it just quietly, silently flashed on the screen. It was like this little image that just kept rolling on the screen over and over and over. By the way, Bean is eating, so maybe you can hear the crunching in the background. That's what that is. It's really cute. So anyways, and it was really hypnotizing, and I was very numb at that point in my life, just so drained of everything. My life had come to a huge it kind of exploded, and now all the dust was settling, and I was just sitting there in a daze watching this little thing play out on the screen over and over. I don't even remember what it was, but it just captivated me. I don't know how long I sat there. And finally I decided to play some music along with it, because it was silent and I felt like it just needed something. And so I came up with this, and initially it was this phrase over and over and over, and I played it over and over and over. later on I kind of added to it. The next piece that I want to talk about, it's not the next song that I wrote, but I wrote this a couple years after my divorce when I met my current partner, Brian. And this song, Sehnsucht, which is always very difficult to pronounce, and I shake my fist at the person who named it as such, but it just seemed so appropriate. And this was a piece that I wrote when I was falling in love, basically. And falling in love is a really terrifying feeling. It is simultaneously the best high and the biggest low, and the most thrilling and exhilarating and exciting, and the most terrifying and horrifying, and it can just be such a mix of feelings. And especially after coming from a surprise divorce, I expected that to be my husband for the rest of my life. I was really terrified of allowing my heart to feel something again, because it's precious and vulnerable. And so this piece is very much those feelings of coming to the edge of a cliff and then choosing to jump off, and you have no idea what you're going to land on. You could land on something really soft and cushiony and bounce right back up again, or you could land on some jagged rocks and be dead. It could go either way, and you don't know, but you have to take a leap of faith, because part of that journey is taking a leap of faith, and part of the experience is what it feels like to be falling in love. That's basically what it is. So that's what this piece is about. And at the very end, there's this feeling of, I surrender. I have no control over this anymore. I just have to let go of all of my protection, my walls, and just surrender. is Springtime on Tumamok, and this is something that I wrote. I don't know if it was before or after Brian, to be honest. I think it was before. Yes, it was before. It was the spring before we met. And this was, I was climbing Tumamok, which is a place I call my mental health hill. And it's just a little trail, like paved trail up this hill in Tucson. And it's pretty darn steep, and in a short period of time you can get your lungs really breathing hard and your heart pumping and your body moving, and it just is like this instant, when you get to the top, that all the, the endorphins, and there's just this sense of accomplishment and euphoria, and you can see the world really clearly. And I always feel so much better having done Tumamok, and it just takes a little bit of time. And so I was up there, and it was springtime, and there was flowers blooming, and it was probably the first time in a long time that I felt connected to the world around me, because I had felt so disconnected, so numb. Like I said, the year prior, I actually got hit by a car on my bicycle, and I remember, because I had been feeling so kind of dead inside, that I was like, maybe I actually died that day. And so this experience on Tumamok just felt so beautiful, and I was just like, I can see everything around me again. I can feel it. I can feel the sun, and I can appreciate the colors and the textures, and I can feel it all very close to me, and I'm even like waving at people as they pass. I hadn't felt that hopeful and that connected to the world in such a long time. And so I wrote this, Springtime on Tumamok, a song of hope and renewal and all that. Thank you all for watching and going on that little journey with me, and maybe I'll do more in the future. Bye.